What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Happy Friday to you all. Bitcoin is finding some support at our downward sloping trend line, setting at $68,400. So, will this level hold? Well, we will discuss that. But a couple other things I wanted to mention first off. So we know typically that Q4 is bullish for Bitcoin, and as you can see on average, the return is nearly 82% for Bitcoin. But what is also interesting is we're starting to see some of these altcoins take off. We're starting to see Solana take off. Ethereum hasn't been performing as well as some of these other altcoins, but nevertheless, Q1 for Ethereum tends to be very bullish at 92%. So we're going to discuss why Ethereum could hit $5,700 in March. But first, I wanted to discuss a couple other things. So here on Ethereum, we have rejected from our downward sloping trend line. We thought when we saw this breakout that this may act as support, and it has not. So we'll cover that a little bit more later in today's video. But a couple things I did want to point out are some stocks. Tesla ripping higher to 262. We've been talking about this one on the charts for a while. At some point, I will clean up this chart here a little bit because it is quite messy. But we did have a downward sloping trend line on the daily. We mentioned that if we did break out, uh, that we may come back down to retest this area and then see a bounce. Of course, we had earnings come out Wednesday after hours, and that sent Tesla gapping up and moving much higher. So, will we reject here on Tesla? Well, it is a possibility, but this is the weekly chart. And one thing I did want to point out, if we really zoom out on Tesla, is potential for Tesla to go much higher in the coming years. I don't know exactly how high this may go, but basically, if we take a line here from the bottom to the top of this run on Tesla from 2019 to the top in 2021, which was quite a big move. And we move that over here where you could see that that could put us well into the $3,000 to $4,000 range for Tesla. So that's just something that I did see when I started zooming out on this chart. By no means am I saying that Tesla is going to $4,500, but nevertheless, it does look like Tesla has a lot of room to move up, and so there's a few things in favor of Tesla. Number one, it's been underperforming a lot of the other big stocks, uh, the Magnificent Seven. So I could see Tesla going higher here. There is a gap fill up here on the daily, right around, I believe it's 290, 296, something like that. So there is a possibility that we go up to get that gap fill here in the coming days. Nevertheless, this has been quite an aggressive candle here for Tesla. And as you can see previously, when we start getting these candles like this, big candles like this typically are a sign that we may be peaking temporarily. So that's something to keep in mind. Nevertheless, I do think that Tesla does go higher, and we may try to reach that $300 level here, possibly in the coming days or weeks. And one other thing I did want to point out here, I mentioned this, the potential for this a while back when we saw this run up here, that it does appear that we may be putting in an inverse head and shoulders on Tesla. So that could take Tesla much higher as well. MSTR keeps going up. 244. MSTR has been ripping. As we mentioned, when we broke out of this area, we thought we would come back down to retest it to see if it would act as support. Honestly, I thought it would come back down and maybe stay here a little longer. This did not last long at all. This is on the daily chart, and you can see this move here on MSTR. Wall Street is loving this thing, and it just keeps moving up. Why is that? Well, there's a few reasons, but first off, Microsoft shareholders want to buy Bitcoin. Says MicroStrategy shares are out to outperform. So that's interesting. Microsoft is talking about buying Bitcoin, and I don't know. I've done some research, but it sounds like they basically may want to use Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation, and they have, I heard a stat, over $400 billion. So that could be a lot of Bitcoin. So we'll have to see what comes out of that. But the stock market continues to go higher. The SPY at 583. This is the weekly chart. I do think there is a possibility that the stock market does pull back here a little bit in the coming days and weeks as we head into the election. I could see it coming down to around that $5,700 level on the S&P 500. But nevertheless, the stock market still looks strong, and we still have a target on the S&P 500 for 6,000. So it looks like that is going to continue most likely. We also have the dollar rejecting from our key area. This box here highlighted in purple previously acted as support, and now we are looking for it to act as resistance. It's pretty amazing whenever you really take a look at the technicals on the charts, how these levels play out almost exactly. Could the dollar go higher? Yes, but we are rejecting here, which we know is good for assets, including risk-on assets such as Bitcoin and crypto. We also have Coinbase sitting at 212 today. And again, we had our box here. We mentioned that whenever we broke this downward sloping trend line here, that we would see a move by taking this measured move from here, and we hit that level nearly perfectly to the T, right around 220, rejected down, and then we retested this box, acting as support and moving up. So Coinbase is starting to make a little turnaround here in the past few weeks. A lot of these smaller cap stocks and some of the altcoins have really started to show signs of strength. If you're interested in buying stocks, commodities, or crypto, you can do so with Robinhood right now. Robinhood has 3 offers where there is no limit on what you can earn. You can get 3% on IRA transfers, 2% on transfers with a minimum of $10,000 margin balance, and 1% on brokerage transfers. So that goes until the 27th, and Robinhood allows you to start building your portfolio and buy fractional shares of stocks with just as little as $1. They allow you to buy stocks, options, ETFs, and trade commission free. They also offer crypto such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, and many more, as well as gold. If you're interested, there is a link down below, and whenever you use that link, you will receive an additional free share of a stock. All right, guys, let's get into Bitcoin and discuss what is going on there. So I want to start out here with this chart from Marty Party. So it's pretty interesting. We have where Sailor enters Bitcoin, and we have that parabolic run that ran into 2021 with the NFTs, uh, Coinbase going public, Tesla buying Bitcoin. Then we had the crash back in 2022, where all the markets came down, including the S&P. And then, of course, starting off with this cycle, we have BlackRock filing for the ETFs, and we had the ETF spot approval, which happened last year, and we know Bitcoin ripped higher off that news. And so he put in here what's coming up. Obviously, we have the U.S. election. Um, it is looking like there is a possibility of a Trump win, but regardless of the election results, I still think Bitcoin and crypto, as well as the markets, continue to go higher. And there is several reasons listed why here. So this was an interesting chart. You can go check that out over on X. But I wanted to discuss what is going on with Ethereum specifically today. Why are we seeing Ethereum uh, not perform well? Just continued signs of weakness. First off, I want to start out with this chart of the Bitcoin dominance. We have this upward sloping channel here. And as we mentioned several times on this channel, we thought once Bitcoin dominance reached somewhere within this chart around 60%, we would see a rejection on the dominance. So whenever that does come down, that will be when these altcoins really get moving. We've already seen a lot of signs of strength out of Solana, and we will touch base on that here in a minute. But first off, let's discuss what is going on with ETH. This is the ETH to BTC ratio, and it just keeps capitulating. And so basically what this is the performance of returns of ETH versus Bitcoin. And you can see we have this area right here where we may find support on this. So we will look to see if we can start to form some sort of base on the ETH to BTC dominance. There's a lot of support back in this area, so we may see ETH begin to outperform. And I wanted to just take a look at this Ethereum chart here on the weekly because we do have this upward sloping trend line which has been acting as support. Of course, we are still very close to that trend line, and typically for a lot of the spot positions that I generally like to make, I always like to look for a series of higher lows and higher highs. Of course, um, ultimately, sometimes I will try to get in on this second dip, but I also want to confirm that there are higher highs. So a lot of times I end up taking positions on the third retracement, but nevertheless, we've had basically our fourth retracement here on the weekly for Ethereum. And the reason why I think Ethereum could go to $5,700 is if we go back to the Ethereum quarterly earnings. Well, if you take a look at quarter four, typically we see about a 20% increase, and then in Q1, a 92% increase. So if we go back to the Ethereum chart and we just take a look at that, uh, basically what I want to do is start from basically the beginning of October is where I'm going to take a measurement from. So if we do a 20% move from there, well, that puts us right around 2,900. And then if we take another measurement from there and do 92%, well, you can see that puts us right around, this time I'm saying 55, 5,600. So yeah, kind of hard to get an exact measurement unless I zoom in, but nevertheless, it is right around that $56 to $5,700 range that Ethereum has that potential to go to. And of course, Q1 ends in March. So I do think Ethereum is going to go much higher. We probably are going to go back up, probably find some resistance right around the $3,000 level. We could reject it one more time. And then I think we'll start to move up possibly to reclaim that $3,000 level and then start to move up towards that 4,000. Of course, there will be a lot of resistance up there as well. So we may bounce around a bit before breaking through. But nevertheless, I do think Ethereum will start to move here in the coming days and weeks as Bitcoin starts to take off. And another chart I want to share with you is the Solana versus Ethereum performance. So Sol has been absolutely crushing it when it comes to these layer ones, and Solana is definitely appearing to be probably one of the best layer ones for this cycle. Some people are saying Solana is the new ETH, and I think that is a possibility. We do have a lot of things going on Solana, and Solana continues to move higher. Here on the daily chart, we have this inverse head and shoulders pattern, and which we mentioned if we took a measurement off that, we would probably go up to test that $200 level. So I do think that is a real possibility. So we will see that if that could happen here in the coming days and weeks. I do think that there is possibly the possibility of a slight pullback here in the next week or so overall, but nevertheless, Solana is looking very strong. Another altcoin that has been looking very strong is Sui, and Sui is a layer 2 on Solana right now, setting at 189. So we're looking to see if this box will hold and act as support. As mentioned, we've really ran up here in the last couple weeks on Sui. This has been a great return. And if we just take a look at this chart and we zoom out a little bit, we've got this cup and handle formation now starting to form on Sui. So if we take let's take a bar here and do a little measurement, that can give us an estimate of where we are going for Sui. That puts us up around right around $8. So looks like this coin could do potentially another 4x here once altcoins start moving, and Sui has been one of the stronger altcoins here recently. So looking for this area to hold, and it's a great way to get a beta play on Solana. Another altcoin I wanted to mention is Uniswap. This is a layer 2 on Ethereum. And speaking of beta plays, basically a beta play is where you look to get a more percentage return on your investment depending on the narratives and which segments of the market are hot and Uniswap is a way to do that on Ethereum. So if we do see Ethereum take off, then I think you will see Uniswap do much better. Of course, we've got a couple targets here for take profit zones around $10 to $12 and then up higher. But this would basically be the equivalent of Ethereum going up towards that $4,000 level. And at that point, I do think that Uniswap could even go higher. And really it has the potential to go much higher than that. But yeah, right now Uniswap has actually started to outperform Ethereum. And what I've been noticing here recently is some of these smaller coins, once the market sentiment starts to turn bullish, they tend to outperform. It's like they you get greater gains when the markets go up, but you also have greater losses when the markets go down. So if you look at some of these smaller cap coins sometimes, um, then you will see when the markets are really starting to move. And so Uniswap has really been running up here recently. So I did want to bring that one up. If you're interested in buying Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Sushi, Uniswap, and many more, you can do so with iTrust Capital. iTrust Capital allows you to buy, sell, and trade crypto, gold, and silver 24/7 in a low cost, no monthly fee, tax advantage IRA. I prefer IRAs because the gains that you will make on crypto and investing are taxable. And so whenever you do have large gains, that really can uh, really take a big chunk of your taxes whenever you do go to pay taxes. I know in the past, when I was flipping houses, I had to pay those capital gains if I did not hold that house for longer than 2 years, and that would have been a significant chunk of my return on investments when I did that. So yeah, you want to watch out for those capital gains. The other thing I like about iTrust Capital is they allow you to roll over a portion or all of your 401k or IRA with iTrust so you can gain exposure to crypto. They have over 5,000 plus 5-star reviews on Google, and they actually have people you can call and talk to. If you're interested, there is a link down in the description below. All right, guys, don't forget to go follow me over on X at Mind of Financier. I am Mind of the Financier on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. So you can follow me there as well. But basically, I post over here on X anything that I see that has to do with the markets, including stocks, commodities, and crypto. And it is Friday, so I'm sure everyone is getting excited for the weekend. We've got Halloween nearly coming up, so be careful out there, folks. And until next time, take care, be legendary,